This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag.
You know what I love about Florida Squirrel, aside from the freedom, tax-free state, the fact that there's no Democrats in charge of any decent area? I like the fact that no matter what the temperature, if the sun is shining, if it's hot and beautiful, you don't have to worry about some degenerate, illiterate Chicago ghetto scumbag shooting you in the forehead. In fact, the violence and crime violence never goes up in decent areas when it's hot. But you guys, hope it's a cold summer because you get used to that living low. Even your phony preachers like Flager and the $6,500 suit-wearing bust-out who couldn't pay his water bill before he started to steal from the mayor's office, Brandon Johnson. We'll get to that low life. But moreover, you have to understand how the game is played. It's not just the money that they steal in shakedowns, that they steal once they're in office. It's the money they continually and perpetually steal. See, it looks like policy. It's not really policies. Whether it's green agenda, Medicare, whatever the excuse is to create the policy. The money is stolen and a percentage is kicked back to the politicians. That's why nobody ever gets caught until Donald Trump's in office. You mean to tell me 455 people stole $65,000 million in a scheme that had been going on for years? This is like Minnesota, only worse. 455, and nobody got caught until now.
Today we are here to announce the results of the 2026 National Healthcare Fraud Takedown. This announcement marks the greatest combined federal and state effort in combating healthcare fraud in history. Thanks to the leadership of President Trump and the Vice President and all those folks standing behind me and next to me, we are more united than ever before. This team is working tirelessly to take...
Whoa. Let's not get carried away. I love this guy, but let's not get crazy. These Democrats, they don't like it at all. That's how they steal money. Now, the good news is there's enough of these fraud Democrat apparatchiks with costumes on, calling themselves judges, to squash all the cases, as they did yesterday, the day before, and the months before, in Minnesota, in New York, in Shirakistan, California, and anywhere Democrats are in charge. And that was always the play. So when you listen to this Chuck Schumer clip that we played for a while, understand this wasn't to me and you. This was a wink and a nod to the scum and the scourge that steal our money in the form of policy and then kick back their contribution to the political lowlife that crafted the policy in the first place.
There are those who believe that we are, in real time, living through an assault on the constitutional order. Do you believe that we are in a constitutional crisis right now?
Yes, our democracy is at risk because Donald Trump shows that he wishes to violate the laws in many, many different ways. The good news here is we did put 235 judges, progressive judges, judges not under the control of Trump last year on the bench, and they are ruling against Trump time after time after time.
And they are freeing the Democrat apparatchiks. And he used the word laws. Well, what's law? What's law? Laws crafted in Washington, D.C. by these smarmy 435 lawyers and kickback recipients. That's law. USAID is law, right? USAID, foreign policy money, all law. That's why when I heard the insider trader, Ro Khanna today, when I heard the insider trader attack Elon Musk for exposing the money laundering schemes in law, in policy of USAID, I said to myself, this is a fantastic opportunity. Now, when we talk about Ro Khanna, because the show is growing, right, Squirrel? What are we in, all 50 states? We're in 30 countries now, so the show is growing. I want everybody who's new to the show to understand, when I talk about Ro Khanna, he's not a politician. They're fungible scumbags to me. They're fungible. What Ro Khanna is the greatest insider trader in the history of the stock market ever. $170 million of insider trading profits in 7 years. Unprecedented. Makes Nancy Pelosi jealous, if she could remember how to be, from her 8-ball high.
This is worse than I thought. This guy, Ro Khanna from California, since he's been in office, he is averaging 17 trades every single trading day for an average of $16,500 per trade. 17 trades a day every single day for holy, how is that possible? I'm sorry, but even if you have somebody doing this for you, how can you 17 trades a day, 2,000 days since you've been in office, 17 trades a day for an average of $16,500 a day. And he's literally on the Oversight Committee. So a member of the House Committee on Oversight and Accountability is doing 17 stock trades a day, every single day for 2,000 days.
Well, why do you think they create these committees? Why in the world do you think they create these Soviet-era committee on top of committee on top of committee, and they put themselves and then they insider trade? Because you get away with it, baby. It's like Brandon Johnson putting gangbangers as violence interferers. That's the scheme. Now you can deliver dope with a vest on. That's how it works. It also worked like that in the Soviet Union. So now Ro Khanna is going to lecture us. This is an insider trader who has amassed $170 million in profits through inside information and corruption. And he's going to lecture me, you. He's going to threaten us and Elon Musk.
And I do believe that once we take power, there has to be accountability. There needs to be accountability for Elon Musk. You know, they're celebrating that he created 4,400 millionaires, but they don't talk about the 4.5 million children around the world who he possibly sentenced to death by dismissing.
Now, see, I love how they talk with that lawyer, little exit ramp, who he possibly sentenced to death. First of all, that's right out of your ass that you pull it, number one. Number two, I don't care about any of this nonsense. You see, right now in Africa, Islamo-Nazis are killing thousands of Christians. Do you care? Absolutely not. I don't care about any of this in order to take away our assets in the name of schemes because it never goes to them. In fact, Squirrel, do you know how much over the course of 20 years USAID gives $1? $1. You know how much that even hits the country? Even hits the country that they say the money's going to. If you average it out over 20 years, 12 cents. 12 cents. 12 cents! That's all that even goes to these countries where it's stolen by their version of Democrats. The politicians steal the money over and over and over again.
I will say this, even with the reforms we put in place and what we're suggesting is changes to our foreign aid, we still will provide more foreign aid, more humanitarian support than the next 10 countries combined, than the entire OECD. And
how much humanitarian support does Iran? Aloha snack bar! How much does that bust out country that has a GDP half of Walmart's revenue, and all they do is kill people? How much do the Islamo-Nazis in Africa, do they give humanitarian? Why are we the only one? Forget the humanitarian aid. Let them eat cake like the Democrats in Chirac.
Far more than China. China doesn't do humanitarian aid. China does predatory lending. That's what Belt and Road Initiative is. That's what all of their aid. They have zero record of doing humanitarian aid in the world. And frankly, they don't know how to do it. They have no interest in doing it. What they're very good at is going into some country, making you a loan, and then holding that debt over your head. And that's what they continue doing. By the way, you have to hire a Chinese company to do it. So I don't agree with this assessment.
Do they all have tan pants, red shoes, and a red shirt on?
China has either the capacity or the will to replace the U.S. in humanitarian assistance, in food deliveries, or in developmental assistance for that matter. We provide development assistance. They provide debt traps. And that's a point over and over again around the world that we've made, and we've found receptive audiences to it. Now, look, anytime you undertake reforms of this magnitude that needed to be made, you're going to have hiccups, and you're also going to have controversy. But these reforms had to happen. At USAID, 12 cents of every dollar was reaching the recipient. That means that in order for us to get aid to somebody, we had to spend all this other money supporting this foreign aid industrial complex.
Well, who could that be, Squirrel? Who could that possibly be?
USAID gave $5 million to Open Society Foundation Macedonia. $5 million, a direct grantee, with the help of then-President Barack Obama's U.S. ambassador to Macedonia.
Say Hussein. Barack Hussein Obama. And that Open Society, isn't that the Nazi? Isn't that the Nazi? George Soros and his queen's son? I believe it is, Squirrel. They've got little divisions in every country. In every country. So when you give it, it doesn't just go to Open Society. No. This is Open Society Gatsangul. Then there's Open Society Gatsangul 2, Gatsangul 3, and they steal in perpetuity, all under the guise of USAID, which is why Ro Khanna loves USAID. He likes to steal. He's an inside hustler's thief. And he's also in charge of the committee.
Macedonia. The U.S. government spent millions of taxpayer dollars to destabilize the democratically elected center-right government by colluding with Soros. So USAID is actually funding Soros, and Soros is passing those funds to the people on the ground, the local politicians.
That's how the Medicare money's stolen. You don't think that these 455 non-citizens, citizens, illiterate Somalians, you don't think that they just got away with it, do you? Of course not. They cut them in or cut it out. How much of this money ended up in the coffers of the local Democrat scum?
Take down fraudsters who steal from taxpayer-funded programs and prey on vulnerable Americans. There are 9 healthcare fraud strike forces that have been part of this effort. 57 U.S. attorneys' offices, 41 state attorney general's offices, not red states, not blue states, but both working together with the federal government.
Now, Squirrel, keep in mind, the $30 trillion that had been added on the debt since Barack Obama, married to that Bigfoot broad, went to Washington, D.C. The vast majority of that money is stolen through this policy scheme, both foreign and domestic. And that's how it works.
All right, I hope you're ready to have your mind blown, because let's go over what this actually means if 12 cents of every dollar went to the recipients from USAID and 88 cents were sent to NGOs like Marco Rubio says. So here's a breakdown from foreignassistance.gov, which is an official government breakdown of how much money was sent from USAID to organizations overseas, and it looks like there was about 250 to 300 billion. So a midpoint is $280 billion sent by USAID over the last 10 years. That's what we use for the calculation. So to actual recipients, direct aid, only about $33 billion was given, and that's being pretty generous. To NGOs, that means they pocketed 88% of that money. So they took $246 billion out of $280 billion.
How many NGOs is that Pritzker Flintstone lookalike family? Is it 64 NGOs? Fat Boy and his dog sister and the queen cousin? Not to mention Tom. Ooh, Tom. How's Tom doing? You got a lawyer for that Zorro Island? He's just going to wing it. You low-life scum. You're not rich because you do anything. You're rich because, like Ro Khanna, you're just stealing and using information and policies. Now lecture us, scumbags.
Mantling USAID. He needs to answer for that. He needs to be subpoenaed. He needs to face investigation. He needs to answer for what he did with Doge. That it's not just let's move on. And we will use the Oversight Committee and the Judiciary Committee to hold people accountable who violated the law on ICE and abused power with ICE.
Hey, Ro Khanna, you beady-eyed bastard. Hey, Ro, can we buy the judges like we used to in Cook County? What is it, $1,500 for a murder? Can we buy some of your Democrat crooked rat judges the way we've been able to buy them for 100 years in these Democrat ghettos? 312-642-5600.
Broadcasting from the petri dish of corruption known as the state of Illinois.